What's going on, everyone? In this video we're going to look over Sphere 3D's mining update. So we're going to go over that press release and what's going on there, and we're also going to take a look at Sphere 3D's chart and when I would plan an entry point. And I'll leave this down below in the description for you so you can look at it yourself. But basically they mined 58 Bitcoin in August, which is down 2.5% from July. However, it's up 359 year over year, nearly 3.5 times. Their month-end hash rate was 1.3 exahash, which is up 18% from the prior month and 13 times year over year. And they achieved a 74.1 Bitcoin to exahash efficiency. And you might be asking, why did they only mine 58 Bitcoin if their efficiency was 74.1 Bitcoin per exahash and they're at a 1.3 exahash? Well, that's because of their uptime. Their uptime was 66%, which is down from July due to a significant increase in curtailments over the month as a result of record high temperatures at their hosting partner sites. As we go throughout September, temperatures are going to continue to drop, and I do expect in the September update we'll have a better uptime. And I think this can be a catalyst moving forwards that gives them an increase in Bitcoin mined per month when we see the September update. So I am planning an entry point very soon. Now in this month they did sell 65.7 Bitcoin of the 58 they mined, so they took more off their balance sheet and it pulled them in $1.6 million. They are currently now holding 2.8 Bitcoin. So they are completely utilizing all Bitcoin that they mine to fund future operations and growth. But I would like to see them start holding a little bit, knowing that the halving is coming up, knowing that Bitcoin is very likely to raise in price extremely soon. Now let's take a look at what the CEO Patricia says about this update. We energized an additional 2,210 miners during August, bringing our deployed hash rate to 1.3 exahash per second. Bitcoin mined was 58.3, representing a 359% increase year over year and 3% decrease from July. The lower production from July was due to continued curtailments related to record high temperatures at Texas and Missouri. So I looked on like weather.com or something and see that Texas and Missouri are both starting to experience temperature dropping moving forwards, so we should start seeing that uptime increase, which would be good for the future updates. And they did give us a Core Scientific update. This company went through a bankruptcy and Sphere 3D is trying to get some assets back or get some money back, and there will be a hearing in the first quarter of 2024, so we have to wait a little while until we see what comes of this. I'm still waiting to make an entry point on Sphere 3D because the chart is bearish. We're under the 50, 100, and 200 EMA. We are under the 50 and 100 moving average. They are all in a bearish order. They are not pointing up. We recently hit a low back in the end of August. So I'm being patient on this. I want to see it start actually breaking over these EMAs because, you know, you could take a gamble and say, okay, this has to be the bottom. But what about this? This has to be the bottom. This has to be the bottom. This has to be the bottom. I mean, you can keep going back and trying to say, okay, maybe this was the bottom. Maybe this was the bottom. So I'm being patient because it could always create new lower lows. But we're almost running out of time here. We're getting so close to the halving. I do think Bitcoin is going to start moving up. And it is actually right now trying to push out of a resistance. So we'll see if Bitcoin can push out of this resistance and likely bring all these miners up. But Sphere 3D still looks bearish on the chart. I'm trying to be patient and time an entry point. That might turn out to be the wrong decision and I should just dollar cost average from here moving forwards. And this may in fact be the bottom, but I'm not taking a risk on that. I'm going to continue to wait and be patient and wait until things look more bullish on the charts. I want the wind at my back, not the wind in my face, meaning I want to ride the momentum up, not push against momentum that's going downwards. Now, as for price targets, by halving, I do see Sphere 3D more than doubling by then, which really makes me kind of just want to enter now, but I'm trying to be patient. But say by the halving, if Bitcoin were to theoretically double, go towards 50,000 by the halving, I do think Sphere 3D would more than double. I think Sphere 3D will outperform Bitcoin as it moves up. So it really depends on where Bitcoin is going by halving and after the halving. I do think at the peak of the Bitcoin bull run coming up, say in 2025, I do think Sphere 3D will more than 5x by then. I think it's pretty reasonable to expect at least that. And this is an extremely small cap. They are, last I checked, at like a $25 million market cap. We have other miners like CleanSpark at $700 million, Iris Energy at like $270 million. So this is a much smaller cap. But when money does enter, that will move the stock price of Sphere 3D dramatically. I mean, someone putting in $25 million into Sphere 3D would literally double the market cap, would double the price of the shares. So while it is high risk, while they are unprofitable right now, and while it does appear that they're mining a very small amount, when you look at their hash rate. When you compare them to market caps of other miners that are, say, mining, 5 times more of a hash rate, 10 times more of a hash rate, Sphere 3D is undervalued when you look at their hash rate compared to these other miners. But because it's such a small hash rate and because it's such a small cap, there's definitely risk here. It's in a downtrend. They recently reverse split. So know that it is very high risk, but I do expect by the halving, Sphere 3D will be much higher in price. For me, it's just a matter of waiting for the chart to become bullish. I do think it could potentially create new lows, so for that reason, I'm being patient, waiting for the charts to look more bullish. You might be saying, well, if you buy now, you might not be able to get a lower price. Well, you could always make that gamble. I do think new lows can potentially come, so I'm just being patient. But let me know what you guys think about Sphere 3D. Are you buying it now? Are you waiting for more of a bullish chart like I am? I do believe this stock can move massively as Bitcoin starts getting more interest, as Bitcoin starts pushing back up in anticipation of the halving. I'm just playing it safe, but let me know your strategy for Sphere 3D. Let me know what you think about this Bitcoin mining update. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll catch you later.